of Tea with Z. My name is Zamal Solanki, and it's an absolute pleasure to be joining you again on another episode. And if you are watching live, even if you're watching a replay, give me some likes, give me some hearts. It's absolutely awesome to be here with you. Feeling that energy. So, thumbs up, spread the love, and we're going to kick off very, very shortly. Before we do that, like always, a special shout out to those that are joining us from the Limitless Network, a group of like-minded health health conscious individuals. At the end of the day, all we do is value health, and that's what this group is all about. So special shout out to the Limitless Network as well. What I really wanted to dive into today was, well, firstly, it is International Train Your Brain Day, being the 13th of October today. And when we look at, I guess, our brain and our conscious awareness, and we talk a lot about mindset along these episodes of Tea with Z, but we also talk about um, performance hacks and, mental acuity and all those sorts of things as well. And when we look at today's day being Train Your Brain Day, when we look at a day that helps us to refocus our energies and to become a little bit more consciously aware of the stimulus that we're giving to our brain to help it keep young, to help keep our heads in the game. When we look at the opportunities that lie within this, we're granted with a plethora of possibilities of ways in which we do that. And when we look at, I guess, the activities that we become so accustomed to that aren't maybe congruent to that or don't support that, such as mindlessly watching TV or engaging in sedentary activities that really don't activate our brain. And when we look at that, of course, we talk about the need to recover a lot, because at the end of the day, as health entrepreneurs, we tend to give a lot to other people. So it's very important for us to take that time out for ourselves. But when we look at, I guess, our mental alertness and mental sharpness, we know firsthand, working with patients that suffer from dementia. And we had Brianna on recently. Her mother, was unfortunately one of the stories that were a result of these mental conditions or these health related conditions that affecting the mind and affecting the brain. And when we look at these conditions and when we look at the impacts of it, there's more and more evidence and research coming out about, well, the brain is like a muscle. And as a result, if the brain is like a muscle, we need to work it out. We need to actually be consciously aware to strengthen it in order then to increase its performance and ability. And if we're not consciously aware of doing that or aren't doing the exercises to help strengthen it, then what are we doing? We're leaving it vulnerable to things like, these conditions that unfortunately result in cognitive decline. We start losing the functionality of the brain. Now, not to say that, the exercise of our brain, you can do all the, brain exercises, all of them in the world, and not to say that you're going to get that. We see this all the time. The fittest runners in the world suddenly collapse and die of cardiovascular conditions and things like that. That's just how the body's wired. But what it does do is help to limit and prevent the chances of that actually happening. And so when we look at these sorts of activities in our workplace and what we can encourage our community to do, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all about here, is, these hacks not only for ourselves on our own entrepreneurial journey, but on the journey of others. What we can look at doing is actually starting to have these active conversations about, well, what are we doing to take care of our mind? What are we doing to help strengthen our mind and the exercises to perform, not only for ourselves, for our community, but actually even for our team? And the reason why I wanted to bring this up today as well is, working with different clients. Right now, the buzzwords are starting to come out about planning Christmas parties. And whether or not you're in lockdown or not, I'm sure you're still planning some way, shape, or form to round out the year, for many a very challenging year, but also a time to reflect and celebrate all of the achievements that were still made despite all of the challenges that were faced, but also the opportunities that we've leveraged along the way. And when we look at these sort of activities, that we have, one thing that, was really, really rewarding for us was doing activities that helped our team strengthen their mind. And it wasn't just Christmas parties, it's team bonding events as well, because at the end of the day, there's more than one occasion to connect with your team. And we're now seeing this, surge of these team bonding activities that help to promote conscious awareness, conscious behavior. I was very fortunate enough to just partake in a virtual activity, which was a race around the world, and we had to fulfill challenges. And literally, there were people virtually on all over the world joining this activity, and we to get into groups and actually think laterally, think vertically, think whatever, to actually partake in very unique activities, and that pretty much encourage us to think. But even escape rooms, personally speaking, I personally love escape rooms because it helps to use a lot of different cognitive thoughts and processes, but also encourages amazing teamwork. And when we look at all of the different things that we have at the moment, my question to you today is, what are you doing for you? What are you doing for your community? And what are you doing for your team? How are you empowering yourself to train your brain? Is it that you like to read the Sunday paper and you fill out the Sudoku puzzles every Sunday? Is it that you love to read and you're reading books that challenge you and promote actual cognitive thought and recognition and reflection rather than the storytelling of fictional characters? Is it that you like to actively go out and play and seek, influences from the outside world? Is it that you love to puzzle, do art, there's so many different things. Is it that you love to solve problems on a computer? You love to code? What is it for you? But then how are you then translating your experiences and things that you love to share that with others along your own health journey and to empower others in your community and your team to try these things that may not have been on their radar? Because at the end of the day, it's so important that, like I mentioned at the start, we're training our brain. We're training our brain and we're exercising this muscle, but we're doing it continuously. And something that Natasha and I love to do is even just to either start the day or wind down the day on some days, not every day, but we'll either read or we'll actually just do a Sudoku puzzle, or we actually love to puzzle as well, to get our minds, thinking in a different format. And we love to challenge ourselves with the different sorts of things as well that we do. So at the end of the day, as a result of that, we set up things. And when my parents come over, for example, they then might have a look and see what their the pieces to fill on a puzzle, and we all start contributing to that, and we leave it on the table, and each person each morning maybe goes and puts a couple of pieces on, and we're starting to train our brain just to think a little bit differently and to recognize patterns, to see things that we're not consciously aware of, or to bring things to our consciousness. And so that's what I really wanted to ask you today is, how do you keep your mind young? And I'd love to see your responses in the comment section below. But better still, I'd love to see not only what you do for you, but how you translate that and how you empower others, and the tips and tricks that you could share, that you could absolutely share with our community, for those that are watching and engaging, as to how they can actually encourage others, their friends, their family, their colleagues, to partake in these activities that are really going to strengthen their mind. And we know by strengthening the mind, the science is there, that we're going to get better performance outcomes. It's a simple fact. By paying conscious awareness and conscious attention to the fact that we are working on strengthening our mind, we're going to get better performance outcomes. We're going to get better long-term health outcomes. We're going to live a more well and fulfilled life. And as a result of that, as people watching this that value health, not only for ourselves, but for others, isn't that important? Isn't that important? Isn't that probably one of those most important things? Because I could probably hand on heart say that we've all been touched or affected by somebody that has unfortunately, not been able to keep their mind young, to keep their mind active, and maybe they did all those things, as I said from the start, but unfortunately their body had other plans. The universe had other plans, and as a result, they experienced cognitive decline. And as a result of that, the impacts on loved ones was even more so felt. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I've seen firsthand the effects of what what dementia can do, what Alzheimer's can do, what all of these cognitive diseases have, and the impacts they have on human connection, human life, on families, on friends. And it's devastating. It's devastating. But if there's one thing that we can do today to help to limit those effects, it's about training our brain and doing the exercises to help keep it young. And these are the things that now, my parents, are entering, semi-retirement as well, and that's what they're now actively doing, is to keep their mind young. Because going from actively full-time working in the workforce, now they're taking up hobbies, they're taking up things that challenge them, that earth them. And as a result of that, that's helping to keep themselves active and keep themselves young. So that's my question for you today. What do you do for you to keep your mind young? Is it that you do a Sudoku puzzle? Tell me your favorite puzzle that I should be trying out. I know that Tash and I watched Queen's Gambit and was like, oh man, we should get back into a little bit of chess. And we whipped out our little chessboard and started playing a bit of chess. Like millions of other people around the world, it was widely documented that Queen's Gambit, encouraged people to play chess and start to take a focus on mentally stimulating activities. And so, what's it for you? And how are you then translating it to other people in your world? So, that's it from me today. A special shout out to those on the Limitless Network again. The link is in the description below. So, or scan it with your phone if you're watching on your computer, whatever it is, take a screenshot of this so you can join. But the details are in the description below as well. We'd love for you to join. But if you are watching from the Limitless Network as well, bring others on the journey with you, because that's what it's all about. Just all you need to do is simply click the invite button and bring them on the journey as well. But that's it from me today. Really look forward to seeing what your takeouts are from this in the comments. And you know that I respond to each and every one. But that's it from me today. Have an amazing day. Enjoy training your brain. And I'll catch you on another episode of Tea with Z tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Bye for now.